Hey there, introverts and deep thinkers. Welcome to Introverts Unmuted, the podcast where we prove that quiet doesn't mean invisible and deep thoughts deserve a mic. So get comfy, plug in, let's turn up the volume on our quiet confidence. I'm Hansel, and this is Introverts Unmuted. Today, I have Catherine with me. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm so happy to chat with you today. I know as a fellow introvert, really talking about self-love and self-care within ourselves is so important. And we love to be by ourselves.
For sure. Yeah. Did you get your alone time today?
Not yet. It's coming. I have dropped the kids off. Gonna do this and then deal with the puppy, and then I will be having my alone time. So yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Congrats on the puppy, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, we've had the puppy for about a month now, so she's adjusting, and it's going well, but it's chaos.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have a 3-year-old lab, but I remember the puppy days like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So tell me more about who you are and what you're doing right now.
Sure. So I've been in holistic education for a while, for 20 years, and I'm still doing that. I moved from Toronto to Vietnam last November, and I will be in Vietnam for a year, and then I'll be exploring Thailand for a while. And here I'm teaching online. It's great to be a sort of digital nomad for most of the school year, and I'm also exploring other pursuits like energy healing and somatic studies, as well as graduate studies in counseling. And so just being in Vietnam allows me to really regulate my nervous system and just connect with nature and to explore my passions.
I love that you are giving yourself the opportunity to explore all your different passions and still really guiding people and helping them within their own journey as you go on your journey.
Thank you. And I think neurodivergent people probably have a lot of passions, right? Like but I'm sure there's something uniting it all. Like for me, I just want to explore, what is healing and how can I heal myself and how can I help others to heal? So while others might feel like, oh my gosh, you're everywhere, you're all over the place. To me, it's like, actually, no, they're all converging towards one point.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we don't often think about when we all have these different passions, but at the core, they all come together for like one message that we want. And so with that healing, how do you go about helping people and guiding them to healing, self-healing and healing their trauma and really loving ourselves? Because I know it can be really hard when we are in this online space and even in the world to love ourselves when everyone else is out there, and we can fall into different comparison traps and imposter syndrome, etc.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it depends on where they're at and what they're looking for. Generally I give free tips online. So if they're, a stranger to me, they might happen upon my page, they might interact with me and ask me for just content, and I might support them in that way. If it's a friend or a peer, I might just be a helpful friend and try to be that empathetic voice. But if it's a client, then that's different. I'm giving them energy healing, and we're just releasing trauma, releasing stuff, distortions just stuck in the mind, body, spirit system, in the aura, and they're receiving fresh new energies from source. And there's also some recalibration happening. So that's just the energy healing component. But I also teach yoga and meditation and mindfulness. So it just depends on what they're up for, you know. So like it might be chakra healing yoga. It might just be breath work. And I think breath work is just an amazing way to, it's an accessible, universal way to help people, because a lot of us struggle with that dysregulated nervous system. And a lot of us are struggling with navigating fight, flight, freeze, fawn state. And so to come out of it, we really do have to slow down our breathing. Most people breathe around 1.5 to 2.5 seconds per breath, but we want 5 seconds. And I know that can be hard to get to. So I might guide someone to eventually get to that point with some quick tips, or by like literally guiding them with breath work. And yeah, and that will regulate their nervous system. It'll activate their vagus nerve, take them out of fight or flight. And then that'll be the first step to help them to feel this sense of inner safety and ease, which heart math talks about as well. I don't know if anyone's heard of heart math. They've been around since the 80s. They do a lot of research on the heart, and they measure all this stuff. They measure the effect on the environment when you meditate. So yeah, I think that's the first step. Get safe and feel that sense of inner ease. And then from there, you'll explore more what embodiment is. And there's so many ways you can approach any of your goals, any of your wellness goals, from that foundation of let's regulate our nervous systems first by breathing slowly.
Yeah, I agree. I am a big proponent of breath work. Because as I say, it is one thing that is always with me. I can always, whether I'm driving or with my kids or wherever I am, I know that I have control over my breath. And I think leaning into the breath work that I've done has been my biggest self-healing thing that I have done for myself, is really understanding I need to slow down. Because as soon as you slow down your breath, everything just starts slowing down. And so it's really about taking that time and recognizing it first, because you go through a stage of you are in, fight, freeze, fawn, all of those. And then you're like, hey, you have to recognize that you're actually in that state before you can go, I need to breathe.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like starting a new book, it's like there's the before book where you were in freeze state or fight or flight, and then the after, when you start doing the slowing down of your breathing and you're just rested. It's everything's different. You're magnetizing different things to you. You're solving problems differently. You're more social, and the world opens up to you.
It really does when we feel more regulated. And then it also helps when we feel regulated for us to regulate others that are around us, to help guide them. If you're a coach and service provider, all of these things, you are helping others. We're helping people every single day. And so when we are able to be regulated, it's a lot easier to deal with other people.
Yes, especially difficult people.
Yes, exactly. And we will always have difficult people most days. There's going to be something somebody says that maybe you get triggered, and therefore you need to take that time and not maybe respond to them right away or decide on that situation.
Yeah, for sure. It's not easy dealing with difficult people, and the first step is definitely regulating yourself first.
Yeah, it is. So what are some things that we can do, besides slowing down our breathing? Maybe it's after we've slowed down our breathing, we have come to a regulated state. What's the next, we're like, okay, now I want more.
Yeah.
What is something just
For sure. So I think it's important to be embodied. It's important to be in your body. So my question for you is, not you specifically, like just anyone who's listening, but do you know what's happening in your right pinky toe or your left big toe, or your like left inner elbow, your right end of your eyebrow, you know, the top of your head, the top of your left ear. Like, do you know? And you know, for those who can't answer that, right, like they're actually literally confused. That's because maybe they're not used to noticing what's happening in their bodies. Maybe it wasn't safe, you know. Maybe it was safer to just be in your head somewhere, you know, or like be in a book, or to be in your emotions. So you know, if that was easy for you, then congratulations, you are in your body, you're embodied, right? You know what's going on in any particular part of your body if you want to tune in, and then you can move on to another step. But for those who are not there yet, I think they should get embodied by feeling the earth underneath you, by moving your body. And you know, you can move your body any way you like. It could be like a daily walk through the garden. You could go climb a tree, or you could go for a swim, you know, do some Pilates, whatever works for you, but you should move your body to help you to be in your body. And perhaps some exercises like progressive muscle relaxation, or just tensing everything up all at once, holding for a few breaths, and then releasing on the exhale, and doing that a few times just to help you to notice the before and after, just to help you to get into your body. But if you don't move your body on a regular basis, it's going to be pretty tough to be in your body. And so again, do the simple walks, or just maybe do some squats, like start getting into some push-ups, whatever works. It doesn't have to be this ornate task. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I have to carve out an hour of my day to go to the gym and move my body. It could just be like 5 minutes in the morning, and then take the stairs instead of the elevator, and then 5 minutes at night. And it could all be done while you're washing the dishes. You know, do some squats, do some lunges, hop on one foot. Like you can work it in.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that we overcomplicate it, and it's not. We get to break it down and let it be simple. It's our breath. It's our body. We get to be in control of the movements that we make and how we get to do it. And it's very simple. You know, I said my puppy has increased my steps daily because now I'm taking her for walks, you know, doing different trainings besides running after my kids. So there is so many things that you don't think about that, yes, you can work in as, you know, noticing things in your body, going, okay, now what do I need? And really listening to yourself, listening to your body, and trusting yourself. And I think once we start to feel safe in that, we start to really trust ourselves, which leads to, you know, back to the online space of trusting, okay, what the words I'm going to say, because I know that this is what needs to happen because I have listened to myself.
Yeah, exactly. And you're making me think of like why it's important that we're in our bodies. Well, it helps you to understand what you're feeling, you know, because the feelings register as sensations in your body, right? And so if you notice what's happening in your body, you'll be more in tune, more connected with your emotions, and then that'll help you to make better decisions for your business and in your personal life. You know, when you notice what lights you up, maybe that's a great path to take for your business, or like for dating that person, right? Or choosing who to date. Like, oh, one person in particular lights you. You got to notice that first, right? If you don't notice it, you might let these opportunities pass you by. But conversely, if you're noticing red flags, right, for your business or in your personal life, you're noticing, oh, I really get small. Why do I want to just slouch over? You know, why is my face flushing with anger? It's time to take notice of, you know, why is this happening? What does it mean about my values that I feel this way? Has, you know, if I'm feeling anger, has someone crossed a boundary? And this helps me to realize, oh, that is a boundary of mine. Not a boundary of theirs, but it's a boundary of mine. And so it's just good to know, and it's good to use to help to navigate communication, conflicts, just differences with people in your life, in your business. So embodiment is so important, you know, connecting to the emotions will help you to make better decisions, and will help you to know yourself more.
Yeah, I really agree that, You know, the word embodiment, I feel, has kind of like overtaken, and no one really explains what it is. You know, they're like, just be embodied. You're like, okay, but like, I don't know. Some people don't know what that means because they've never been in a space to feel it. And so, really, I love how you've broken it down for us to say, okay, I'm going to, do breathing. Then I'm going to notice things in my body and I'm going to work my body. This is going to help me feel regulated so that I can love and feel safe and trust myself so that the decisions that I need to make going forward are easier. And like you said, noticing, okay, yeah, why do I feel this way? And noticing different emotions within myself. Okay, why do I feel so mad right now? Or why is my anxiety like sky high? Why do I feel like this? And I think when we are regulated, then it's a lot easier to answer those questions.
Yeah, definitely. And they're not easy questions, right? You have to be willing to face discomfort and hard truths sometimes. Maybe things you don't like about others in your life, or things take bravery.
Yeah, it really does take a lot of bravery on our part to sit down with ourselves. And I always say the hardest part is sitting in the quiet with your own self. But that's where so much can happen, is in those quiet moments with ourselves when, we're focusing on our body and we're focusing on our breathing. That is really the growth and the healing that happens, is when we are with ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And that's hard for a lot of people to do, to just sit with themselves, spend time with themselves, and check in with their thoughts, their feelings, their body. I think a lot of people are distracting themselves so they can avoid all of that.
Absolutely. And the internet has created a giant distraction for us to ignore our own emotions and our own bodies, because we can just sit and scroll and pretend that everything is okay when we know that it's not okay. And so really breaking down and saying, no, I don't need to be online. I need to be within my own self and in my real life.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think enough people value that. Just like, let's detach from this online world. Let's limit it. Let's put some boundaries on it. And including like, when do I read the news? And how do I ingest the news? Am I going to watch a video so my subconscious can be impressed upon, like, over and over again with all these images that I have no control over, including like grisly murder scenes? Or, should I read about it in an article so at least I have control over what my subconscious gets exposed to? For me personally, there's a minimal amount of brainwashing when I read the news versus watch the news, right? Because I'm still learning about it, but I get to decide whether I want to watch a video rather than having it just thrown at me, whatever is in the video. I think it's tough. I think a lot of people are doom scrolling and they're not creating a safe container for what, how, when, why they're doing what they're doing online. Again, can you navigate the online world in a way that makes you feel safe and that is helpful to you rather than harmful?
Yeah, and that's where it really comes down to setting in those boundaries and understanding yourself, understanding how do you digest information and how is the best way for you to manage it to really heal your own self, and getting into embodying, once again, yourself, even when you're online.
Yeah, definitely. And do you have any strategies that work for you?
Yeah, so I have, I kind of grew up in this online space, almost, not quite. I'm a little older. And so it's really about managing my time on there and what am I doing on there. Am I going to doom scroll? If that's what I'm on there to do, then that's what I'm on there to do. And I have certain apps that I'm only there to doom scroll. But I set a time. I'm not just going to sit there for hours and hours. Okay, yes, I am allowed to check out for 10 minutes.
That's so
what I'm going
reasonable. I love that. Yeah.
Because I can't say, no, I'm not going to doom scroll, because that's not reasonable. Realistically, sometimes I just want to doom scroll and check out and maybe watch something funny or whatever it may be, and catch up on whatever drama that's not mine. But really setting in that place of, that's what I'm going to do for the next 10 minutes and it's okay. And then go, okay, I'm going to go over to this other app and I am going to check in with people and message them and, get to know my audience. So I think really separating that time of going, why am I here and what am I doing? Okay, am I on this site to read this article? Okay, let's not get distracted by this over here. Which is really hard. And I'm not saying I'm not very good at it all the time. Sometimes I'm good. The other times I'm not.
Right. But you set some goals around it and they're reasonable. Yeah. Giving yourself 10 minutes is more than reasonable as well. And, you get to just relax and enjoy. But there's some structure around it so that you can also be effective in the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I like how you said that you prefer to read articles over watching videos, because it is really much more powerful to read the words and for you to formulate your own kind of opinion around that, instead of the videos where it feels like they're telling you.
For sure. I think it's easier to see bias when you just read the words. It's sort of like one aspect to focus on. Whereas there's so much coming at you with the video. So I think, the brainwashing is much easier. There's so much brainwashing out there.
It is. And it's a really challenging thing when most apps have moved to video content. That's what wants to be seen because it's so easily digested. And I think people have forgotten that reading is way more powerful, way more digestible, and so much better for you.
Yeah, and I've read that there are some people who are kind of moving back towards that interest in long form writing. So with apps like Substack, I'm not sure of any others, whatever, blogs, it looks like there could be a comeback happening.
Yeah,
maybe longer YouTube videos.
Yeah. I feel that, long form content has never really gone away. It has gone through phases as things do, but Substack definitely has hit a big, uptick in the last year of people really just wanting to read content. And same with Threads, where it is just, more words. There's minimal videos, pictures. It's just words. And I think people love it over there, especially as introverts and neurodivergent, because there's less distractions. We get to focus on the words and really take them in.
I agree. Yeah, Threads is so minimalistic. I love that. It kind of removes that performative aspect that IG has. And I mean, yes, there are authentic people on IG for sure, but there's a lot of performativity as well. And with Threads, it's easier to see through. Again, when AI wrote it, versus when it's just coming from, someone's unique soul contribution, soul expression. So yeah, Threads is such a breath of fresh air.
It really is. And I think more and more people are realizing the power behind it. And as soon as, IG can completely ruin Threads in minutes with new ads and different things like that. But it's really about, as long as we stay true to what we want to say and how we want to say it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it might be a little bit difficult for people to I guess, come up with content. So they might be relying more on AI. So there might be a bit of maybe a lack of creativity there. I do feel like it's sort of selling out to allow AI to take over the writing for you. Like, I get it helping you as an assistant, but when you give your power away, that's an issue. So I'm seeing a lot of that on Threads, but I try to influence the algorithm. I try to curate it so that the AI isn't really showing up as much. If you know what I mean. Have you seen those AI posts?
Yes, I have definitely seen those AI posts and they float around, and I don't think they're not going to go anywhere. And that's the thing. People can choose to use that. I use AI to help me, organize my thoughts, as you said, like an assistant. It does not, I don't allow it to take my creativity. It doesn't get to post for me. It doesn't get to, change my words. It gets to make sense of what I'm trying to say sometimes. And, it helps with this podcast because creating the show notes, and different things like that, and creating different clips of what I want from episodes of podcasts help me continue to create the content. Like, we're creating the content right now, and then I allow AI to help me, summarize it for me.
That's
so that
cool.
I don't have to sit there and do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's totally not taking your creativity away. It's more like, getting your assistant to help you out with a bit of summarizing. Yeah. Like the minor tasks.
Yes, absolutely. So where can we find you and connect with you?
Well, I am on IG and Threads as breathe.move.express.heal. And my website is Catherine-Vincent.com. And
Perfect.
I think those are the two major ways. Yeah.
Awesome. I will have the links in the show notes that my AI helps me with, making sure that everything, so everyone can connect with you. So please go connect with Catherine and keep up with what she is doing. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Amber. It was a pleasure.